Hello and welcome to another episode of House of Why. Today we have a talented actor, economist, and a professor at Albert School of Business and Economics at Seattle University. It's my honor to have you here, Professor Meenakshi, and welcome to House of Why.
Thank you, Rishi. The honor is entirely mine.
That's very sweet of you, and that brings me to my very first segment of the podcast, which we have named as "Select a How and Explain It Why." It's entirely based on your life until now, whatever decision you have taken. But believe yourself to be in a very hypothetical situation that I'll be giving you two choices, and you have to choose one and explain it that how differently or how you would have imagined, but life had taken you there. Mm-hmm. So number one is. If given an option in the terms of career, which I know you have both, but what would you rather choose, economics or an actor?
Well, I would prefer to be an economist because that puts the bread on the table. Actors don't make any money.
I mean, that's true. Correct. Moving on, if given a chance, what would you have preferred, staying either in Seattle or in India?
That is a very tough choice. I do believe that I am happy where I am, so I would have chosen Seattle. But India still draws me, and I'm here talking to you in India. So again, tough choices, but Seattle over India right now.
Indian, I'm hurt a little bit, but all right. Considering you are from Delhi, what would you have chosen if given a chance between Raj Kachori or Dahi Bhalle?
Raj Kachori.
Raj Kachori.
Yes.
Perfect.
No questions there. Yes, Raj Kachori.
Yeah, makes sense. Would you prefer Haldiram or Bikaner, or is there any?
Haldiram.
Yeah, they give the best ones.
Yeah, और उसमें ज़्यादा they put more dal in
it. Yeah.
So protein भी मिल जाता है.
Exactly. Yeah. I like the pomegranates and the toppings.
Absolutely. See, dahi bhalle you can make at home or get frozen.
Exactly.
कोई नहीं बना सकता.
Yeah, the cup one is good. Yes. Moving on. Which skill would you have preferred, acting or researching?
I love researching. I love discovering unanswered questions. I love getting to a methodology in my head, trying to answer why this question is even important. So I love the whole research process. Mm-hmm. Acting is very hard, and I usually pick things that are easier. Correct. So researching is definitely easier than acting, so researching.
I think your part that you're such excellent that researching is easy, but I think for most of us researching is a huge task.
It is.
I think why not we start with something from your journey when you were when you were a teenager, and obviously have grown into an excellent adult. So is there something you would like to shed light to when you were in your teenage age? When you were in your teenage, and that has shaped you being such an excellent person in life?
Well, the jury is still out on whether I am an excellent person. I think I have room to grow. All of us have room to grow.
True.
But I think just what has shaped me has been my ability to put myself in uncomfortable or difficult situations deliberately and trying to come out of it. So I left India when I was 22. And I did not have a soul. I did not have any family member in the United States. I did not know anyone. But I put myself through graduate school on scholarship. I used to clean homes. I used to run a tutoring program. I used to do all kinds of things to make money in order to make ends meet. But putting myself in that position and not choosing just the comfort of being at home in India and having things done for me, that has enabled me to grow as a person. And throughout my life, even doing a PhD, you have to find a topic, you have to find a group of committee members that sometimes you don't see eye to eye with. Those are all very uncomfortable positions. And I've actually taken it to acting as well, where I don't have to play the same role every time, and I'm just learning from scratch the arc of a role. All of those are, I think, ways in which I demonstrate to myself that I can rise above any uncomfortable position. So deliberately putting myself in that position, I think that's how I see it. in my journey.
And that's eventually very true when we see something out there being so nourished and full of nutrients that we call it as a human being, why somebody is growing. Obviously, when you put ourselves into such situations, I'd say that it's the best things. Nothing can go more worse than that. So I wasn't aware about certain facts as well, and I really look up to you in certain matters. While me being studying economics as a wholehearted subject, which I'm 70% there, but I don't really like love economics. It's just like I have to study. I know what Phillips curve is, what Adam Smith was, and what capitalism is, and everything. But it's just like when we call about certain passion, it doesn't really naturally come to me. But seeing you as a person, you're an economist, obviously. So also a very diverse person. But how did economics happen to you?
I mean, it was always about decision making under uncertainty. Like, like I said, putting myself, and you gave me choices just now, right? That is economics.
Correct.
Making decisions under uncertainty or allocating resources is economics. So you're not 70% there, you're 90% there, right?
Perfect.
Dusra, economists are in the world to make the world a better place. So all of my research, for instance, has to have a policy angle to it. I don't do theoretical models with no policy, because I want to know at the end of the day, what is it that one can do to make things better? Correct. Whether it's my last research paper or whether it's the first one I wrote, it's all about policy and making the world a better place. And who can take that away, right?
And nobody, yes. When it's a bit certified, I think it is more credible out there as well.
Truly. Yeah,
and that's true. Correct. So when I was researching about economics a lot in depth, and about you as well, I think 54% of my research or certain podcasts or certain articles did mention about why is it not necessary to study economics in an university, because it's just unsupported technology which you get here, because when we move outside, it's kind of like truly different. Some people also commented on how studying economics in an university is making astronomy. So coming to you, obviously I see, I've heard you right there in the session as well, that how passionate you are about economics. So would you like to shed some light and give some advice to students, and specifically to me as well, for that 10% gap that is, I think, very hard to cover. But how would should be the approach to this?
Yeah, that's because you're viewing economics as a discipline, that you're listening to these people who talk about this as being astrology or not astronomy or whatever. Economics should come very naturally to you, right? To anybody. It may not be in the form of a demand and supply graph, for instance. It could be, tomorrow I'm going to get a job and here is a certain amount of income I'm going to get. How do I allocate my budgets? So whether an individual is allocating her budget or whether a government is allocating their budget towards various priorities, that's economics in action. So until you have an understanding of basic terminology, this is demand, this is supply, this is how marketplace works, this is taxation, this is expenditures, this is consumption, how are you going to have a foundation on which you can build your house? So I think that definitely economics needs to be taught. More importantly, it has to be taught by good professors, and I am assured that at Jindal you have the best professors teaching you, right? So 90 said you will get to that 100% very shortly. We're almost there.
I'm hoping that.
And you're admitting it's 90. I don't think it's 90. I think it is much higher than that.
I really hope it will. I really thought that it was 70, but I think 90 is somewhere good for me right now. I'll get my horse ready. But that's great. But when we talk about opportunities economics outside, one is being an economist, writing research papers, or being a professor. We can help other students study as a professor or a teacher. Is there any other field that economics help you go into?
Oh, absolutely. There are so many areas. As I said, economics is basically a framework.
Correct.
And having that basic framework in mind, you can do data analytics. I have had students working in psychology, but having that basic behavioral understanding of how individuals make decisions has actually enabled them to become better psychologists. There are politicians who have basic economics understanding. There are people who are doing even physics, but they have this basic economics background that enables them to market their skills better. Any aspect of the business disciplines, whether it's management, marketing, all of these are coming off of economics, and most of the well-known or celebrities of now did study economics. Other than Elon Musk, who I find is a lunatic, but sadly he also studied economics back in college. Yes,
I feel the same about Elon Musk. Yeah.
I'm glad we agree.
Yeah. I think about Elon Musk, it majorly is generational wealth and some idea of what he's doing, but I don't understand now what he's doing.
No, I don't think he understands it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but proceeding forward, there's this question that I wanted to ask, which was related to Dr. Raghuram Ranjan. He was invited to the campus of IIM Ahmedabad, and he talked about that. It's more than 30 years now that the new reforms back in 1991 and the policies were introduced. So, what, according to you, can you say about those right now, being holding an expertise in international business and international political economics?
Yeah, 1991 was a watershed year. 33 years ago. Now I left India in 1987. And at that time, India was in the grip of what we now call license Raj, where everything was managed at that, license for this and license for that. That creates in economics an artificial scarcity of stuff, where the person who is giving you the license earns what we call economic rent. And it leads to very distorted market outcomes, which is what the Indian economy was at. As an example, to go to my graduate school, I needed to take a loan from the RBI, and the RBI, because of the distorted exchange rate that India had at that time, could not give me any more than $700, where my medical fee, medical insurance, which United States, you have to pay for everything, including your health insurance, was $1,400. So I did not even have the ability to raise that funds because capital markets were not privatized. I did not know where to go. Banks were unwilling to give me a loan. They didn't even have foreign exchange. And so that's what happened in 1991. India was left with just 2 months of money to pay its import bill for oil. And so they had to privatize. A lot of good has come from then. I personally sometimes do not recognize the India that I grew up in. The speaker today was also alluding to just 2 cars and waiting for 6 months to get a phone. There's a lot that has privatization has done for India. There's a lot that privatization and globalization has not done for India too, and one has to keep your eye on both. And unless you are able to criticize yourself and take self-criticism, you're not able to grow. So putting yourself in uncomfortable positions, even our politicians need to put themselves in uncomfortable positions.
It truly makes sense. Is there any policy you would like to talk about which you might have worked on? Okay, so that's basically an addition. So is there any policy you'd like to talk about which you have worked on and you think had a major impact?
I've not worked on it, but I work on financial inclusion of women. And for a long time, I actually thought that the policy that we had during what we call the financial repression times. So when India got independence, we did not go to the market model. We went to what is Nehruvian socialism, where they actually created these bank facilities and told banks that they have to give priority sector loans. They have to give certain amount of loans to women. And at that time, it might have seemed like a distortion, but now that I'm looking at inclusivity of women in the finance ecosystem, I find that those policies, repressive as they may be or directional as they may be, had a necessary impact in creating a supply of banks and bank expansion where anybody could go, go to the bank. Now, it's a separate question of whether just having a bank there makes a woman go there and apply for a loan or get cash or use, even not going to a bank, use digital mobile payment system. Those are different issues. But I think the policies at that time historically had meaning for me, which is what I call financial deepening. But that deepening was not done by market forces, but through almost like fiat by the government. So that policy, I think, has had, and now we are in a totally different space. We are with the unified payment interface is enviable. It's the envy of the world. But we did start from increasing that banking habit amongst our population.
I know that truly makes sense, because when we even like for example, we even hear about certain countries applying with UPI and it's inaugurating there. I think it was I don't remember the country's name, but it was somewhere very recently where Mr. Modi has inaugurated UPI. So I think that's a proud moment for us.
Absolutely, we have totally bypassed the whole having a credit card, having plastic.
Correct.
So people used to say that, well, India is still using cash.
Correct.
And abhi cash say you have to go to credit card use. Uske baad you will be using mobile money. Well, whether it is Modi government or whatever, they have decided that what do you need credit cards for? Ultimately, if you have to make payments, you can use technology. So it's fintech. It's great investments in fintech that have actually led to this proud moment, as you call it. So yeah,
correct. As a student, I feel proud about it. But once somebody, there are a lot of students as well who are working in the field. I might not be the one, but there's, I think, certain students whose imagination is something more beyond this. So I think future holds a lot for us.
Absolutely, you're Gen Z, right? Correct. You think mobile.
Correct. We have mobiles, we think mobile, and we don't eat mobiles.
No. Not yet, but you can order food on the mobile.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So though I was not reading actually, I read the abstract of your research paper, which was termed as regional differences in willingness to pay for mitigation of air pollution from coal-fired power plants in South Korea, which majorly talks about sustainability. So two questions. Number one. Can we say that economics is sustainable? Do I get an idea that it definitely is? If you could shed some light on how. And number two is students should really be working on fields like sustainability and economics, because I don't see a lot there right now.
Because Gen Z has to realize that phones are not going to save the planet.
Exactly,
right?
Correct.
And carbon emissions are growing. They've started slowing down because countries have become, because again Gen Z, Greta Thunberg and people like that have made us conscious of the fact that the rampant increase in gross domestic product, GDP, comes at an environmental cost. And one has to grow, but sustainably. India has a twin problem, right? We don't want the carbon emissions to grow, but we also have to feed the millions, 800 million or so that are in poverty. So how do you grow, but grow in a sustainable manner? This becomes something that, we have to solve. This is an issue to solve for our century. The COP28 sessions that ended about trying to limit global warming over 1 degree over pre-industrial levels, etc., are all leading to the fact that developing countries like India need a lot more help from developed countries who've seen their cake and they're on a different growth path. But climate finance is going to become a major area because you're not going to get these developed countries to pay for you. So my paper is actually about behavior. Can people change behaviors? Are they willing to pay a hypothetical amount on their electricity bill to sort of go towards certain carbon mitigation sort of policies? So changing people's thought process. That too is economics, right? Looking at behavioral changes. So I think there's no other option. We have to think about sustainable growth because we cannot grow the way we've been growing in the past.
Yeah, definitely. I think I don't hear about sustainability, but I think a lot of people will understand how important sustainability is even when we talk about human life. Obviously, we are eating a lot of junk right now, but later growing on, obviously it'll give us health problems or health issues, which is obviously not sustainable for us. A lot of students get into practices of drugs and every other thing. So I don't think so that's way more sustainable, and I think that's also kind of economics when we talk about it. So I think that's the end of the podcast as well.
Okay.
Correct.
Wonderful. I had a good time. Thank you.
Same here. Eventually, I learned a lot of new things as well, and I'd like to even connect with you on certain pointers which I have now known about. So I really think the podcast was very beneficial for my audience as well as for me.
I hope so. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.